I don't like death metal, because death metal sounds like this. It's noise, okay?
Really? You're all nobodies. The people who do that shit. You're f***ed up. You're broken in the f***ing head. Every one of you ass content creators out there. Well, all you do is talk shit about people all day and you call it the news? Because now it's 100% reliant on tips. And if you want me to stay on Twitch, you gotta support me with tips. It's that simple. I don't want you to think that when you come to DSP Gaming, that you're getting some kind of an advertisement, that I'm purposely pushing something down your throat to make money. That's never what I've been about. But tips are really important because tips are essentially my liquidity. When you tip me on a stream, that's something I get right away. That's something I can use to pay a bill, to go grocery shopping.
It's a debate, yeah.
You know, the funny is, like, he believes that, like, if one of us was to be struck by lightning or die in a car accident, that would mean he was right about the whole situation. That's how mentally ill the guy is.
Some people stream for fun. This streamer does it to embarrass himself every single day. A man who could easily turn playing video games into full-blown meltdowns.
That's it for Kirby. I'm not playing Dark Souls when I'm playing Kirby. The fucking game is full of shit. I'm not gonna waste my time with that. That actually genuinely 100% pisses me the fuck off.
We are talking about none other than your very own King of Cope, also known as DarkSydePhil.
I'm DarkSydePhil, or DSP for short, and welcome to DSP Gaming. Now, if you're actually seeing this video, it means that you're not currently a subscriber of the channel.
Yelling at fans.
Why don't you learn how to do it yourself? You only stream a few times a week. Dude, I'm here 6 fucking days a week, more than full-time hours. I don't have time to become an animator on top of being a fucking streamer. Shut the fuck up.
Rage quitting games.
This is insanity. I'm done. This is over. I'm done. I'm not redoing it. I'm done. She's gonna heal him. I'm done. I'm done. It's over. It's over. Goodbye. It's over.
And still managed to blame everyone but himself. For years, DSP has been the internet's famous train wreck, bringing together delusion.
I myself am a former pro fighting game player, as well as a Machinima partner here on YouTube and a Twitch TV partner over on Twitch TV.
Toxicity.
Shut the f up. I'm not taking your shit. I don't care who the f it is. There's people in the chat right now. Oh, he's doing a meme. Oh, this is cringe. Shut the f up and eat it.
Racism.
I'm black. I pull guns on my ass, son. Now watch this. Boom, boom. Side shooting, motherfucker.
Jeez, I swear to God, you Jews, you Mexicans, you Asians are so demanding. You drive me nuts.
And begging in one endless live stream of disaster.
Number 2, during this time when I'm not live streaming, I know it sucks, you can still leave me a tip. Alright? Tipping is really the best way that you can help me out right now.
However, before anything else, DSP has been fumbling his way through the gaming world ever since. This was witnessed very much when one of the competitors, Jaha, called him out for his trashy behavior, and then ghosted when it was time to pay up.
You know, Phil is either gonna do one or two things. The reason we fucking had to run him down, and this happened fucking twice, is because the guy likes to talk a lot of shit on the internet.
I call him immediately, and I have it out with him, dude. I tell him everything I'm feeling about it, and I'm pissed off. So, to his credit, he apologizes profusely. Says to me that he felt insecure, or he is insecure.
And when it came to friends, DSP once again turned up his clownery, backstabbing his childhood friends, Rambo and Howard, for his own benefits. And because of his over-the-top delusion, many streamers like Kino Casino and Total Biscuit couldn't help but roast DSP. They made fun of him in their parodies and playthrough reviews, but instead of learning, DSP didn't let a chance go to burn another bridge. It was largely because of DSP's awful rage baiting and racism. So without any further delay, let's get straight into the video and discuss DarkSydePhil's topmost worst skill, racism. Racism isn't something new to DSP, and if you already know deeply about this man, you might already be familiar with it. It wasn't once, it wasn't twice. There were multiple instances where DSP was seen being overly insensitive about a certain group of people. At first it was only about African Americans. Then he moved toward other races, specifically the Mexican population. While playing Minecraft, DSP made a racist joke, presumably a dark joke about Minecraft people wearing sombreros. It was clear that he was talking about workers from Mexico.
La 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 la.
Murder Mexicans, use your sombrero, murder them all.
Like many times before, he acted like it wasn't his fault at all. He shamelessly insisted he never said harsh words or left racist remarks. Instead of issuing an apology video, DSP would claim that his jokes were often taken out of context and that he wasn't a racist. In other words, he had a free pass to be funny, even if it came at the expense of humiliating people. But when it came to his own self, he couldn't take it. According to him, no one could make a joke about him, especially his gout, because it was natural and painful.
All the time, people make fun of people with disabilities. That's f***ed up. A sickness, a disability, things like that, that's ridiculous. Just like if you're going to insult someone personally because of their race, that's different than making a general joke about race, in my opinion, okay? Now, this is all me. You could completely disagree. That's fine if you do. But I'm just saying, you make a general joke about race, I think that's okay.
However, his own jokes crossed the line more than once. They eventually escalated to the point where he ended up getting banned from Twitch for using a hateful slur. He was suspended for good 7 days straight for that before his account was restored.
Ladies and gentlemen, DSP here. For the last month, we have all been speculating and we have all been wondering what the hell is the real truth of the matter of what happened behind the scenes at Twitch that I lost my Twitch partnership after being a streamer on Twitch for 8 years and streaming there full time for almost 4.5 years and never ever during that time frame having an issue with my Twitch partnership.
But this wasn't the only time he was suspended from Twitch. In March 2018, he was banned for 24 hours straight for doing fundraising on his live stream. He asked his viewers for bits, which was against Twitch policy, and resulted in his suspension.
The subs are going away permanently. Apparently, they kicked me out of the partnership program, and I don't know why.
And then, the next month in February, he was suspended once again, but this time, it was for a different reason. During one of his live streams, he had harassed and mocked another person. At first, he thought the suspension happened because he had joked about slapping a disrespectful kid during VR chat.
Now I'm away from that annoying of a kid who I would have slapped in real life if they talked to me like that. I would have pimp slapped that shit out of that.
However, when he reached out to the management, they claimed he had harassed someone, which was against the Twitch rules.
So I'm thinking, what in the holy hell could they have said I harassed someone on one of my streams recently? I was like completely dumbfounded by this.
This incident takes us back to the early 2000s, when DSP's controversial behavior wasn't limited to online platforms. As far back as 2002, he had already been confronted in person for his attitude. It is around the time when DSP first kicked off his career on YouTube. From the beginning, DSP, also known as Phil Burnell, had a strange obsession with arcade games, and spent hours at arcades playing games like Street Fighter, Super Mario, and Mortal Kombat.
Now I fix it.
Blanca.
Is the red dot that blinking, or is it saying rack?
Welcome everyone to Bridgeport, Connecticut, home of Crown Fried Chicken.
However, it wasn't just his passion that made him stand out. He was also infamous for his aggressive and blunt attitude, especially his constant use of F-bombs, which he sometimes used to show his frustration and other times to be humorous. His rudeness even went so far that he insulted the professional players of the fighting game community. It was around 2002, and EVO tournaments were happening. DSP would go on the Shoryuken forum and bash the professional players, claiming that he could easily beat them in any game without even facing them. But soon the tables began turning. It was when DSP came face to face with Shady K, a player DSP actively resented. For the first time in a while, he had faced someone in person, and he ended up being embarrassed, losing the money match badly.
Shady K was one of them, and Shady K didn't like him too much because he would like run his mouth so much. I mean, this guy would make posts that were like a mile long or whatnot. So we had them play a money match, and I think it was like first to 10 for like $100, or it was first to 5. Yeah, I think it was like first to 10 for $100, and they played the first game, and it was on the big screen, and Shady K won the first game.
But it was just the beginning of his downfall. Shady K's friend Jaha, another top player, a bodybuilder and a former Marine, and an event organizer, Mike Watson, decided to confront DSP for his big talks. DSP also insulted and humiliated Mike on the same forums.
He was videotaping it, and I'm getting up in his face, asking why the he's talking shit, and what the is his problem, and he's just, just cowering and all scared, and him and his friends are trying to fucking leave and we're not letting them, and then
Both of them asked DSP why he was insulting them, and if he was really confident, he could participate in a personal money match with them. When the moment came, DSP's online bravado completely disappeared. During the face-off, DSP looked nervous, avoided eye contact, and couldn't say half the things he used to post behind a screen. It seemed that he was only confident on social media because when it came to talking in person, he was all cowardly. They also asked him to pay a part of whatever he owed them. DSP became more nervous than ever and handed them $10 to $20 before walking away.
you fucking lost one match, you're gonna pay him $10 or $20 because that's the percentage of the matches that he would have lost, which and just scared him shitless until he he paid the like $10 or whatever.
Soon after this, DSP stopped disrespecting all three competitors, but he didn't seem to have learned anything from that experience. Instead, his hatred and aggressiveness had shifted towards other competitors like Alex Valle, John Choi, Justin Wong, and Viscant. Viscant was just another competitor in the fighting game tournaments, and he had had enough of DSP's shit talks about him. It was around 2005 or 2006 when Viscant finally called DSP out. He asked him to have some guts and have a money match with him. He already knew that DSP would wimp out, and he was right. Instead of doing that match, DSP suggested that they should do a physical fight. He even went as far as getting Viscant to sign a paper that said he won't be responsible if he is killed. Seriously? That's messed up. But here's where it all gets next level hilarious. When DSP found out that Viscant was all serious about this MMA fight, he shook up and backed out. He came up with a new idea instead and offered DSP to only pretend to fight with him by doing DX crotch chops to the crowd. That was the final straw for Viscant. He turned him down, and this messed up scene was wrapped up. What's funny is that Viscant had actually helped DSP before. Back in EVO 2002, when Jaha and Mike Watson almost beat DSP up, Viscant stepped in to stop them. At that time, DSP was even staying at Viscant's place, and there was no bad blood between them. EVO 2005 was no less embarrassing for DSP. While he had somehow secured 4th place in the entire Street Fighter Turbo 2 tournament, it also became a humbling experience for him. Many top players believed and speculated widely that the game used in the tournament was full of bugs. It made it fairly easy for the players to win the game, and thus DSP felt proud of himself. After the tournament, DSP gave an interview about how he had played professionally, resulting in his victory. However, in reality, it was all gameplay bugs that helped him out, and DSP wasn't ready to hear it.
The real reason for the hate is because people just have massive disrespect. I mean, for years, these same guys are on top. And yes, I'm talking about John Choi, I'm talking about Alex Valle. Playing ST and placing, okay, they're good. But to disrespect the people that got top 8 at Evolution, to make excuses because it's on console, it's ridiculous. And it's unacceptable. For Valle to say that just because he didn't enter the tournament is the reason that the top 8 got top 8, that's bullshit.
Then during the 2010 EVO panel, Mike Watson dragged DSP in the mud because of how he had been continuously bragging about placing 4th in EVO 2005 tournaments. Mike Watson ended up calling DSP an idiot and a piece of shit for acting like he was some champion.
Some idiot named DSP who's a total piece of shit, by the way. I like to get that on YouTube. But this guy thought he was hot shit because he beat me and Choi in a game that was like, it's like a Neo Geo conversion of Street Fighter or some crap, dude.
After that tournament, DSP was over the moon with his delusion spiraling out of control. He believed he was too good and above everyone else. But whenever he lost, he always blamed something else. The game, the lag, or bad luck. Years later, DSP's delusion got a reality check, but even that couldn't make him any better. He got into 2009 competition, Street Fighter 4, to show what he called his superiority. However, things didn't go his way. While he was able to win the first few rounds, he couldn't go past them and lost. In fact, he couldn't even make it to the top 32 winners list. His loss was a huge contrast to his victory in EVO 2005. This loss was a wake-up call and humbled him a bit. None of his matches were aired or shared anywhere on social media, and that's where he started to earn hate and criticism. He gained a lot of haters, or detractors as he called them. They were a group of people who thought DSP was the worst person to ever exist on YouTube or might be on Earth, all because of his deranged mentality and attitude.
So here I am, worked my ass off for 18 years, pumping out videos. They used to get millions of views. Now the old videos don't even show up in the search anymore. And now all my old content is immediately stolen by detractors and uploaded before I can even get my shit uploaded. So I don't even get views on my own original content because they steal it immediately.
But there was one more thing that stood out during this 2009 tournament. A YouTube channel named Gamer Nook posted a video with the title, I Love You Joe, Sagat vs Tony B, Balrog, East Coast Throwdown Street Fighter 4. In the video, it could be heard that an announcer was asking DSP to stop recording another duo's match and report to his match station to compete. However, DSP brushed it off as nothing. The announcer later told him that if he didn't report to his station, he would be disqualified from the tournament. In response, DSP yelled at the announcer, claiming that no one told him where to play or where his station was. This was just another incident that made him infamous for his disrespectful behavior.
DSP, stop recording. No one gets to play. You can't hold up a tournament. Hey, for DSP to report this match is disqualified.
Where am I playing? You still haven't told me. Jesus Christ.
And he was no different online on his own YouTube channels, beginning from his first channel named DarkSydePhil, where he would post videos of his playthroughs, vlogs, and commentaries. Even in those videos, DSP didn't hold back from showing his ill behavior.
Oh, you see, but 4 years ago, Phil said this about Trump, and Phil said this about this, and let's see him flip-flop and change his opinions. You are nuts. No, really, you're obsessed, you're nuts, you're f***ed in the head, you're a bunch of f***ing no-life losers, limp bitch. You're trying to stalk down words that I said and you're gonna take anything out of context or anything to try to get a gotcha moment off. Because now, things are different. Now, you are irrelevant.
But there was one thing that made his channel stand out. Not in a good way. It was his strange pattern of uploading videos. Instead of posting one long video, he split every playthrough into short 10 to 15 minute clips and uploaded them all at once. A single 2-hour playthrough could turn into 8 to 12 videos in a row. Sometimes he uploaded up to 40 or 50 videos in a single day on his channel. YouTube eventually caught on and flagged his account for spam, temporarily suspending his channel. It was a reality check. His own upload habits had backfired on him.
And of course, if you've been following the channel today, you obviously know exactly what's going on. The DarkSydePhil main YouTube channel has been suspended yet again. To make it formal, what their actual wording was is that they said, this is your third copyright infringement strike yet again. Your account has been terminated.
What made it worse was his refusal to edit anything. He uploaded his recordings as they were, with no cuts or improvements, almost as if he had something against editing. This pattern and the constant use of the same video titles and thumbnails led to a penalty from YouTube, which ultimately reduced his channel's visibility. Due to this, he came up with a different YouTube channel in 2010, which went by the name DSP Gaming. He used this channel for the same purpose, uploading a bunch of chopped videos in a single day.
I decided to make 2 new channels based off of this. This is DSP Gaming. This is the channel where you're going to see game-related footage that's not Street Fighter.
In the playthroughs, he would often loudly insult the characters and use slurs, or even humiliate his fans or opponents online. One day, when he was recording a Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions playthrough, he got into an argument with his neighbor. His loud commentary annoyed his neighbor to the point that he yelled at him to be quiet. DSP stayed silent for at least 1 minute and then yelled, "Shut the freak up," and laughed.
Take a load off. I'm closing in on him. I can feel it. If I know Vulture.
But hold on, DSP isn't only about being violent and aggressive. He is equally terrible when it comes to managing friendships, even with his childhood buddies. We are talking about his friendship with Rambo and Howard and how it collapsed because of DSP's egocentrism. Rambo and Howard had been supportive of DSP during his earliest years on YouTube. It wouldn't be wrong to say they were the backbone of DSP's multiple YouTube series, including Project 7, Co-op Commentary, and other gameplay series. They would record, act, and edit out videos for DSP for free, while DSP took all the credit.
Oh, I should have my mother.
So what are we doing here, John?
Is he actually making my acting debut? Going to be sitting up. You guys are sitting up over here. Marcus is shooting me.
And then Deathface projects.
We're shooting. Shooting what?
Okay.
Shooting the debut episode of Charles in Charge, the musical.
Charles
in
Charge.
But this wasn't everything that happened between them. In 2015, Rambo and Howard released a 2-hour-long podcast in which they talked about their time during Project 7 in detail. They accused DSP of exploiting them financially, meaning DSP never once paid them for their hard work, even from the revenue generated from the videos.
There's no reason to even address anything about money publicly on a YouTube video.
Yeah, and this is done way before there was any kind of before there was major problems. It's just something that's thrown out like, "Oh, look, I'm a great guy. I'm giving him half the money."
Yeah.
It's not exactly the truth. Okay, so
On the other hand, DSP also treated them more like employees instead of like his close friends. He never checked in on them, even when one of them was going through a family tragedy. His shameless behavior knew no bounds. He quietly moved to Washington without even letting any of them know. If his treatment of friends was not enough to show his immaturity, his next blunder surely did. During a playthrough of Star Wars, he accidentally spilled water on himself after opening a water bottle. Guess who he blamed? Of course, the water manufacturer company. He accused them of overfilling the bottle and soaking his clothes.
I just spilled water all over myself. God damn it. Ugh. I was taking a sip of a bottle of water. It was overfilled at the factory. So as soon as I tipped it towards my mouth, it just went all over my chest and my legs. I'm completely soaked.
That moment was only the beginning of a much bigger pattern, something that his fans now know all too well. DSP's ultimate and unstoppable rage quits. Whenever he felt like losing the game, he would blame the game mechanics or his fans and angrily exit the game. No questions asked.
I quit. That's it. I'm done. That's enough. No mas. I'm not gonna waste any more fucking time. This is so stupid. It's so fucking dumb. A playable teaser that has no definitive direction of what the fuck you're supposed to do. This. Kojima, it was sitting there smoking a doob trying to make games. Learn what the fuck. People want a game that has structure, so they know what the fuck is going on, so they know how to progress, not waste hours in an empty house. What the fuck were you thinking, you idiot?
He once played a game called Kirby, and after losing it continuously for more than a few times, he burst out and rage quit it. He then went on to rant endlessly about how the game had bad mechanics and control. And since he couldn't win it, he claimed that it was a trash game that didn't deserve DSP's time and effort.
I can't, this is garbage. It's literally, dude, it's literally Dark Souls. And now that's it, instant death. I give up. Yes. I'm done. That's it for Kirby. I'm not playing Dark Souls when I'm playing Kirby. The fucking game is full of shit.
And then there was another game to feel his wrath, Super Mario Bros. Wonder. He played it for a while, all between throwing the curse words and restarting the game again and again. When he had it enough, DSP switched to the baby mode. He did everything to try and win at least a single session, but failed badly. At last, he quit it with more anger and rage, stopped playing it altogether.
Okay, I like the game, but that final stage is bullshit. That final stage, I would have to sit here on a night stream for like 2 hours, grinding for lives in order to even have enough to try to do it. For what? What am I going to get as a reward for doing that stage? Nothing.
However, these were only two examples of DSP losing it over the game. He often struggled to play even the easiest games, but still believed he was amazing at them. The same thing happened when he played a new game, Silent Hill F, released on September 25th, 2025. At first, he was only a little annoyed, but soon he threw a full-on tantrum like a child, and as soon as two monsters emerged out of nowhere, DSP lost it and found himself to be the victim of bad game design. Even if it was DSP's own incompetence to play it right, he truly believed that the game was out to get him personally.
Okay. So that was terrible. I ran into the room. One enemy, I go to fight him. Another one spawns next to me, and I'm stuck against the wall and can't get out. Terrible game design. It's just terrible.
And that wasn't even the worst part of this playthrough. When it came to solving the puzzle game, his patience evaporated quickly. He yelled at the screen, insulted the developers, and blamed everyone else but him because he was a professional game player. He claimed that the puzzle was so poorly designed, and the developers didn't seem to even understand English.
All this was outlined in red. I know, it doesn't matter, though. Because look. There's 4 things outlined in red. There's only 3 medallions, so it doesn't matter what's outlined in red. It doesn't mean that that's the solution or anything. The game's designed poorly. All right, I better take these again. And even stupid, even worse, it doesn't tell you if you've got it right or wrong. It just assumes you're going to know all 3 perfectly without saying, oh, that was correct, or no, that's not where that one goes. Instead, it's just, oh, no, you're wrong.
At the end, he did what was expected of him. He declared that the Silent Hill F game was the worst survival horror game ever made, and that he was truly done with modern horror, when in reality, the only horrifying thing was his rage on the screen.
This actually might be the worst survival horror game I've ever played in my life. There's 12 possible solutions, and they all change.
If you think these are the things that make DSP a moron, think again. DSP isn't only aggressive and loudmouthed, he is also a narcissistic fool. He was once playing some sort of game which required him to place matching flags to their corresponding provinces, something as basic as a 3rd grade geography. Within seconds of going into the game, DSP panicked and shouted, "I don't know anything about Europe." After struggling with the game for a few more minutes, DSP ended it by saying, how would he know about Europe because he lived in North America?
A fair guess. but I'm afraid it's wrong. Try again.
I don't know anything about Europe.
No, I'm sorry, that is incorrect.
Oh my god. Well, Paris, I don't know what the Paris, oh, Italy, it's telling you. France, this is France.
Well, that doesn't make any sense because a kid as young as 5 would be able to understand this geography, but DSP couldn't because in Phil's world, geography apparently has regional difficulty settings. A true masterclass in public education failure, courtesy of DarkSydePhil. Clearly geography and maps weren't his thing, but neither were finances, as his next meltdown proved. It was November 2018, and DSP had turned to his favorite hobby, begging. He started a live stream, which was all about one thing. Give me more money because I'm not doing fine lately.
Like, every day I'm not here is a day I don't make money. And that's the problem, is like, I need funds to pay bills and to buy games, you know. It's not like I have the freedom or that luxury to just say, oh, today's just, I'm making so much money hand over fist.
In the live stream, he also made bold claims against someone named Tutankhamun, a user who had previously showered him with loads of tips and subs. He claimed that he was financially struggling because of Tutankhamun, because when his fans saw him giving DSP aid, they stopped giving him donations, which were a must for him to survive. But then he dropped a new bomb on his audience: his unpaid taxes, as if they were his fans' responsibility to take care of all his financial needs. Phil claimed that he needed $16,000 US by the end of April next year to pay his 2018 taxes, and as expected, his fans heard his begging cries, and they started throwing in funds for him, or maybe just one of them did. It is unclear whether that person was his fan or not, but this mysterious user by the name Emerald7 had really turned DSP's life around. This user gifted DSP 698 Tier 1 and 600 Tier 3 subs over the course of 5 days. At the time, streamer cuts for Tier 1 were 50%, and Tier 3 was 70%, which made him around $12,245. And once again, DSP casually took all the funds in, without questioning who the user was, whether he was even a fan or whatever. He just smiled and said thank you. He believed that the divine justice had blessed his bank account. Fans quickly told DSP that he had made money that could almost cover his tax emergency, but he brushed it off by saying, "I don't really know how much I get per sub." Seriously, this was coming from a man who had explained Twitch payouts in detail. Now, if you think this man used that money to fix his tax emergency, it would be a shame because you're wrong. He chose to use those funds to postpone his impending financial downfall until after marrying the love of his life, Kat. Yes, you heard that right, and it shouldn't come as a surprise to you. But before talking about Kat, we first need to dive deep into his previous love interest, Panda Lee. Originally known as Leanna Hangen, DSP and Leanna they remained together for 5 years between 2012 and 2017. Leanna also had a YouTube gaming channel named Panda Lee Games. The thing that stood out most about this relationship was the huge age difference between him and Leanna. She was 18 when she began dating DSP, who was 30 at the time. This also got DSP's detractors talking and criticizing him, making the situation controversial. During their initial years of the relationship, they seemed to have a strong, deep bond, which soon cracked, and they broke up. Soon after, another woman entered DSP's life, Kat, a fangirl of his. Her real name is Catherine St. Jean, and her saga started with a lot of speculation at Kiwi Farms. DSP kept his fans and haters in the dark for so long that they had no choice but to keep guessing about who his new girlfriend was. People on Kiwi Farms even made a separate thread to discuss the woman in detail, but they never got to know about Kat. DSP finally revealed Kat in June 2018 in a special live stream titled Phil and Kat's Special IRL Stream. He said he had kept her identity secret to protect her from online haters who might harass her. After that, Kat appeared in a few of his videos, but not regularly. She was seen occasionally in vlogs, playthroughs, and reviews.
Alright, what's going on, everyone? Good evening. Welcome everyone to the stream. And I have some information to update here as we begin. Surprise, surprise, so you guys weren't expecting this. But Kat was actually sitting next to me the whole time.
Yep.
She was here the whole time. She heard everything you guys said. Every little dirty thing you said, she heard. So now you're all in trouble.
But there was much more to this relationship than just secrecy and love, something that could make fans question both DSP's and Kat's intentions. During the same year, DSP made a comment in his stream about having a brand new car parked at his house. But the real twist came when it was revealed that the car actually belonged to Kat's ex-boyfriend. A user named Phil Burnell on Twitter dug deeper into it and found that Kat and DSP had a vehicle, a Subaru, registered in their names. Things took an unexpected turn when a man claiming to be the ex-boyfriend of Kat came forward. He revealed that the car everyone thought belonged to Kat or even DSP was actually his. These details were revealed when a YouTuber named Tevin got in touch with Kat's ex-boyfriend, who shared some jaw-dropping secrets.
She was indeed committed to a relationship with the guy. Not sure what specific information someone would like to know. He has money, because I remember from him and her talking, he does financial things on the side. I have no idea what that could mean or what that could be, or if he just heard something wrong.
According to him, Kat had been cheating on him with DSP. He said that they had been together for only a month when he came to know that Kat was involved with DSP as well. It all happened in the early 2018, while Kat was already making plans to move in with DSP. Interestingly, DSP started taking random, mysterious vacations around the same time, trips that fans later discovered lined up perfectly with Kat's visits. When DSP started mentioning her in his videos, he told the audience that Kat was in really bad shape. She was going through a tough time, her lease was ending, and she had no place to crash. Kat eventually moved into DSP's house, and when she did, she brought almost nothing with her, not even a change of clothes. DSP claimed he had to buy her everything new, and her ex-boyfriend turned out to be right about her as he called her, an insecure, jealous, and financially dependent woman who would do anything for money. He also revealed more details about the car that both Kat and DSP had claimed ownership of. The YouTuber Tevin shared screenshots of his conversation with the ex-boyfriend, where they discussed Kat and her relationship with DSP. I saw Phil message her on her phone in front of me, and I confronted her. Not a problem. What Phil is doing to the community is terrible. She as a person is very odd. She had a lot of issues with self-confidence. When she didn't want to be involved in something, she would always look pissy and act pissy. She had the jealous behavior, so rarely did she ever come out shopping or out to do anything knowing her for 4 years. She had a lot of psychological issues. She fed off my income knowing I make a good amount of money. Not sure any women can beat my immense love for tacos. Even after all that, DSP married Kat secretly in 2019. He told his audience that his parents were elderly, and one of them even had their foot in the grave. Therefore, he and Kat had to visit them. Following this, DSP announced on his Instagram that he had a parental gout marriage, and had actually been engaged with Kat since Christmas 2018. But what shocked fans most was that he spent his wedding night ranting about his detractors instead of spending time with Kat. Once the word got out about DSP hiding his engagement with Kat and later spending the donated money on his wedding, many of his moderators quit, leaving him isolated. You know, even if you come out Sunday and lie again and say your parents paid for the wedding and trip, that begs the question as to why they couldn't pay for your taxes. You'll find out on Sunday, but it won't matter, because rest of the brainless, you've already decided to not believe me. Phil had already spent his subscribers' money on his wedding, which meant he still couldn't escape the heavy burden of unpaid taxes. With that on his mind, he had arranged 2 fundraisers to gather more money, and his mother also paid him $4,000 to get started with the payment plan. Still, it seemed like DSP could never stop asking for donations. Begging had become his only way to survive.
I have to raise a bunch of money by the end of this month. Why? Because in order to get my taxes done this year, I'm being told I have to pay up front, which I've never had to do before. In the entire time I've been a content creator, I've always had my taxes done and then I paid them after. I'm being told because I filed for bankruptcy, I need to pay my taxes up front.
However, there was a lot more going on with DSP's life than just money issues. Even though he had somehow gotten married to Kat, the fans believed it might not have been his best decision. Kat used to be in DSP's videos and live streams on and off, but all of a sudden she completely stopped appearing in his videos. This sudden absence made people wonder what was going on. Had they broken up? Were they divorced? Only DSP knew the truth. Whenever DSP did live streams, he talked awkwardly about his situation and used phrases like, "I am all alone," "I am on my own," "It's just me," and "I am not talking about my personal life anymore." In one of his March 2025 live streams, he even admitted that he didn't know what was for dinner, which sounded odd to many viewers.
What's for dinner? I don't know. I don't know what's for dinner today.
His viewers kept asking about Kat in the chat, but DSP continued to brush off the questions, as if he didn't see them there in the first place. But when he couldn't take any longer, he decided to respond to the rumors. In a live stream of September 2025, DSP finally answered the much-awaited questions. He insisted that Kat and he were still together and they hadn't divorced.
Right? These idiots have been saying now for what, weeks? Months? That my wife left me or I divorced my wife or something. She's literally downstairs in the living room right now. I could go get her and walk her into this room.
He also claimed that she was sitting downstairs at the time, and he could bring her upstairs in front of the audience to prove it, but of course, he never did. Instead, he gave an excuse, saying that viewers often insult her and leave hateful comments, which is why he didn't want to show her on stream.
I could go get her and walk her into this room. And here's what would happen. That narrative would end, and then immediately all they would do is look at her, start saying stuff about her looks, start saying fucked up stuff about what she says if she walks in here. That's all they want. They're just always looking for more and more and more ammo. So you don't give them any.
However, both fans and detractors found his explanation unconvincing. Especially since he failed to show the proof that they were still together. Many believed they had parted ways. In fact, the comment sections of detractor channels discussing this stream were filled with people saying the same thing, that their relationship was clearly over. She left, not showing proof is what he does when he can't disprove reality. Another wrote, "Homie is divorced, I know this. I had similar vibes when I got divorced 12 years ago. All this workout, I'm a manly man now. I wear t-shirts to look younger, high energy, and then angry out of nowhere. Trust me, this guy is divorced, and this is his midlife divorce crisis. He will be depressed depressed in about 2 weeks, and then he will probably start hitting on a new girl. Whatever the truth may be, most of the viewers believe DSP and Kat have likely separated, and while his personal life fell apart, his online reputation wasn't doing any better either. DSP has had awful interactions with other YouTubers and streamers like Slow Beef, Total Biscuit, Retsapure, Northern Lion, Despotshit, and the most famous Kino Casino, a satirical stream hosted by 2 YouTubers, Andy Worski and PPP. All of this drama didn't just happen out of nowhere. DSP's own behavior had invited it.
Wait a minute, I'm not a complete narcissistic gay lunatic.
Well,
Gay?
no, you
Oh,
actually
you are
are.
gay?
You are a narcissistic lunatic.
Gay and a
Phil,
lunatic,
and you're
yes.
gay! He's a narcissistic gay lunatic!
His insulting behavior, demeaning fans and opponents, yelling at others, and begging had everyone dragging him through the mud. Let's first talk about his time with Kino Casino, a saga that truly stands out in the history of Lolchouse. The story begins when DSP was at his lowest point in his life. He had become a running joke in the streamer community, mocked by almost everyone, and so he thought, why not join hands with Kino Casino, a comedy stream which openly roasts internet personalities using the term felted, a slang for humiliated. Interestingly, Kino Casino had been mocking Tech Review USA, a YouTube channel that roasted DSP, but they never mentioned or roasted DSP himself.
All he had to do was just not delete the channel.
Yeah.
That's it.
Exactly.
Just sit there, turtle up in his parents' basement bunker for the winter, ride it out, and then come back and post on his channel. That's all he had to do, but he just buckled, as he says.
With his hat.
He buckled, move. Buddy, there's no way this motherfucker is moving in silence with how heavily he breathes.
DSP realized that someone who is really against his enemy wouldn't turn out on him. Without giving a second thought, he quickly reached out to them, and to his surprise, they welcomed him warmly, and then out of nowhere, they began showering him with compliments. DSP, who had been on the receiving end of mockery and humiliation, was introduced to something out of the ordinary. Both of the hosts of Kino Casino laughed with DSP's jokes, gave him validation, called him king, and nodded in agreement with whatever he said online.
A promo! Yes. I'm gonna tell ya about Rich from Review Tech USA. Tell us, King.
Oh, how long ago was this?
This was like a year or two.
Kino Casino also invited DSP to join the stream and mock the new documentary of Tech Review USA, roast DSP's old videos, and hang out with old friends. This is exactly when the detractors went crazy. They couldn't see DSP getting all the recognition and compliments after what he had been doing online.
That's great. You did an echo
He
effect.
lost some more chips there, I think. But he streamed on intoxicant.
He got a burn. He got an echo burn effect on it. That was great.
He's highlighting this.
They did everything in their power to threaten Kino Casino, doxing its viewers and even trying to intimidate the staff. But despite the chaos, Kino Casino didn't back down. They stood by DSP and publicly defended him, calling out the haters for their obsession. Then came the time when 3 of them sat together to mock Tech Review USA in detail. DSP jumped right in, throwing insults and jokes that had everyone laughing, including the hosts and viewers. Kino Casino couldn't stop praising him for his amazing sense of humor. But of course, every high has its low, and DSP was yet to realize that. He was so invested in the fame and recognition that he had earned after years of humiliation.
I honestly don't.
Yeah, no, he definitely doesn't want your money. He's just gonna ask for your money.
A twist. I'm going to put you in a series of saw-like traps to save your life if you don't pay me for this camera. He sounds like a supervillain or something. What's he talking about?
What do I need? I need a camcorder for the show, straight up.
Even the Tech Review USA warned DSP that it was all an illusion, which would break soon enough. But DSP brushed it off, and it happened. Behind the screens, the tension kept building quietly, and the friendship started to wear off. Their bond had broken to the point where Kino Casino started to mock DSP and his wife during their streams.
The problem is, most of the time, 99% of the time, Phil is boring as sad to say, but Phil, it's not cutting the mustard, bro.
Phil showed his hatred by crossing out P's face in a photo, ending the collaboration then and there. The Kino Casino, in response, called DSP a begging bum and admitted that they had been hating on him behind his back. From that point on, they turned into the worst detractors of DSP, and they showed it by dissecting DSP's personal life online for entertainment.
Bum!
Do you know how
He's
hard?
an ungrateful beggar bum!
Do you know how hard it was for me to hold it in? Every time he's in chat, hey! And I thought we were being obvious. Eh?
Yeah!
I thought we were being, like, as obvious as possible.
No, I mean, we were, like, literally trying to get rid of him.
But that wasn't the end of DSP's downfall. Another YouTuber, SlowBeef, joined in on the mockery. He went a step ahead by mimicking DSP's voice and style to ridicule him. He humorously named DSP DarkSydePhil and made multiple videos of him. One of them was on how poorly Phil played the game Demon's Souls. The video began with SlowBeef mimicking Phil and cursing the controller buttons as he couldn't differentiate between start and select and ended up pressing the wrong buttons. At one point, he shut down the game entirely and said he would launch his own game and play it offline because he didn't know how modern gaming worked.
Hello, I can't even read the f***ing green text in the chat. Look at this shit. It's ridiculous. I f***ing hate it. It's crazy. Alright. And Sony puts the start button, like, right next to the select button, but then you have to, like, look down, and then the demo starts again if you don't do anything. This is f***ing ridiculous.
His other video titled Emergency 911, DarkSydePhil Needs Your Bits and Help. This video was all about him posing as Phil begging for donations because he was financially struggling and had some expenses that needed fans' aid.
They let us go into a room and, oh my god, I'm getting off track though. I'm gonna lose all my money. Forget her, I don't give a f about her. But you gotta help me with money, okay? I'm so poor that I made the cup here. It'll only fill if you give $1 million to me. That's about what I would need.
Another one of SlowBeef's videos stood out too, how DSP blamed SlowBeef after ruining his channel himself. In this video, he pushed things to the next level, showing how Phil's downfall was all self-inflicted.
In about February of 2013, I made a video called Colonel, I Didn't Manage to Avoid Drowning, with another guy named Chip Cheesem years back. And Phil has contended, falsely, that this has led to people making videos called This Is How You Don't Play, and these all have sort of led to a decline in his viewership and subscribers and revenue. It's completely false.
The way he exposed DSP's hypocrisy and failure had the detractor community roaring with laughter. SlowBeef didn't just mock DSP, he completely outdid everyone else who tried. But there's another creator who still stands a chance, and could be named after SlowBeef. It is Retspure, a creator who made DSP seem wickedly funny, and had us in stitches with his parody videos about Phil. One of his funniest videos on YouTube, titled A Day in the Life of DarkSydePhil, radio edit, is an absolute classic. In the video, he ought to show how Phil is always frustrated at each thing in his life, yet doesn't know anything as basic as opening his car's door using a key fob.
Thanks, Dial. How do I do this? I'm not getting clean.
What the f***? What does it say? 4 words? I can't read 4 words. No!
He continues to live through his day, all while cursing at everything, dropping F-bombs, and laughing hysterically at nothing.
Wait, what? What? How am I supposed to play video games? What am I supposed to do here? This is bullshit. Oh, God. Oh, great. Yeah, I'm just supposed to know to do that. Yeah.
The video blew up, getting over 148,000 views, and thousands of comments from people praising Retsupure's perfect imitation. His voice, timing, and expressions were so close to DSP's that many said it felt like watching the real Phil himself. And then we take a look at another famous streamer and YouTuber, Northern Lion. He once joined a live stream where DSP was playing a game, and that one encounter turned out to be such a disaster that Northern Lion later admitted it was one of his worst streaming experiences ever. He mocked DSP by saying that he thought he was some super smart guy who had been playing a game stuck in an infinite loop. However, it was all his stupidity, ignorance, and inability to understand how a game works.
I watched someone streaming Gods Will Be Watching today.
I've heard of that game.
I'm not going to mention who it was, but many people will probably know. But I got really frustrated because the guy thought he was super smart, and he's like, "Look, I caught this stupid game in an infinite loop."
Northern Lion also admitted that he somehow sat through half an hour of that painful live stream.
He's just like doing the same thing over and over, and it's working a little bit. But then one of the hostages like got up and tried to escape, and he was just like, "Oh, this is bullshit! This game, right? Did I get a bug or something?" And I was like, "Oh man, I can't watch this anymore."
And then how can we forget the main man, Daspashit, the streamer who went out of his way to bring something new for detractors. He produced a hilarious animated series featuring Phil and how he navigates his day.
Oh, more like my punishment. You know what would be great right now? If you did what I asked you to!
One of his most popular videos was YouTube Avenue, Episode 1, Unboxing. In it, Phil is seen playing games with an oven sitting on top of his computer, heating up a hamburger while he plays. Later in the video, he unboxes what he thinks is an Xbox, only to find fast food inside. Instead of realizing that the package had no Xbox, Phil starts complaining that he didn't know stabbing the box with a knife would ruin it. Classic DSP logic.
Today we're unboxing the Xbox One. Let's get started. Wow.
Another video titled Episode 2 Editing shows exactly what happens when Phil is told to edit his videos. Pure comedy gold. His reaction says it all. He'd rather do anything but put effort into his content. Daspo Shit went on to make several more episodes, each one showing a new side of Phil's laziness and insanity.
Just do some editing!
Wait, you just said a bad. Why did you just say a bad?
Now, Phil, I know what's been said before, but maybe just this once we could...
Last but definitely not least, Total Biscuit, aka John Bain, or Cynical Brit. This creator was just another man in the streamers community, but in Phil's eyes, he was a die-hard detractor. In one of his playthroughs, he openly mocked Phil for being loud, aggressive, and extra during his own videos. He claimed that he wanted to keep his video calmer and peaceful, avoiding anything that could make him look like Phil.
And it's why I try and make this stream as chill as possible. Because who the f wants to listen to somebody raging, right? It's like, that's the DarkSydePhil style of doing things. Blame everybody that isn't you, and people watch to watch you rage. Like, do you want to be the f***ing court jester? No, you don't.
Sadly, John Bain was battling bowel cancer at the time, and he eventually lost his life to it, but his work, his humor, and his professional legacy continue to inspire creators. Around the same time, DSP made one of the biggest mistakes of his career. He started doing streams solely to share his political views, a move that cost him more than anything. For the first time, he wasn't just embarrassed by a few critics. His entire chat turned against him. The stream took place 2 weeks after the US elections. Phil thought it was the perfect moment to share his views. He acted as if he knew everything about politics, but it quickly became clear that he didn't.
So here's the text message that apparently people across this country, the United States of America, have been receiving since the election ended, okay?
In the stream, he discussed a news report involving a racist text message about cotton picking and the FBI investigating it. He claimed that it was offensive and disrespectful, but wasn't illegal, and it didn't show any proof that it was sent to only African American people.
The other thing, all right, is this message itself is admitted in this news story. It's outright admitted. There's nothing illegal about this message. Now, you could say this message is very offensive. It's insincere. It's not insincere. It's inconsiderate. It's actually targeting a group. It's trying to be insulting. Absolutely, all of that stuff that is true, but it's not illegal.
Then he switched the topic to himself. He started ranting about how he had been harassed during his 16 years of making videos, and complained that the FBI never investigated his bullies. Viewers began to get annoyed because he refused to call the text message a hate crime. When someone pointed it out, he lost his temper. Another viewer accused him of white-splaining, and that made DSP even angrier. He yelled back, calling them racist instead.
Everything that I just said had to do with my race. It had nothing to do with common sense or intelligence or coming from a perspective of someone who's been through insane amounts of harassment, just like that, only far worse. It's about me being white, right? So if I were black, it would have been different, correct? That's what you're saying? So who's the racist then? Because if I say it and I'm white, it's one thing, but if I was black and I said it, it would be something else. That means that you're a racist. So congratulations on proving your racism here tonight on DS Politics.
The whole situation turned into a mess and added to his long list of controversies. Meanwhile, detractors had long been making fun of his gaming style through the popular This Is How You Don't Play series. This series was produced by a detractor named Evil AJ, solely focused on how poorly DSP played video games, while blaming the game mechanics. Each video lasted 1 to 2 hours, filled with short clips of DSP's gameplay and funny comments added by viewers. These comments made the videos even funnier and showed how rude, careless, and unaware DSP could be during his streams.
Rather than wander around aimlessly for 500 parts, so I'm sure everyone in the stream chat's telling me what to do, so let me take a look. Alright, everyone in the stream chat is saying to Codec Otakon, call Otakon. Yes, because I'm supposed to know that, right? Randomly call someone. Yes. For no reason.
However, what most people don't know is that Evil AJ wasn't always against him. He actually used to be one of DSP's fans, until things took a strange turn between them. All of a sudden, he turned into one of DSP's hardcore detractors. But how did that happen? Well, it happened during DSP's relationship with Leanna. At the time, she used to sit next to DSP in his playthroughs and constantly disrupted DSP's commentary by pointing out certain things and showing her dislike.
I can get the ugly shotgun.
Yeah, you can afford some. Press X and you can buy it.
Look at that. It says everything's locked for me.
Yeah, but you see the XP on the top right? That's how much XP you have in,
Yeah, I don't have enough for, like, anything, apparently.
This drove many fans mad, and they asked DSP to remove her as she was doing no good in his videos. One of them was Evil AJ. Instead of taking it calmly, DSP reacted harshly. He mocked Evil AJ in public and blocked him from his chat. That was the breaking point. Not long after that, Evil AJ joined forces with DSP's detractors and officially became one of them.
You're a idiot if that's what you said. You sent me comments like that, and anyone who ever even took their time out to leave a negative comment or a thumbs down on the videos where she did commentary to say, I don't like her commentary, you are an idiot. You actually are. I understand that this is going to be some of my fans, okay? I fully understand that. You need to understand if you did that, you are an idiot, okay? You are actually dumb.
But his detractors didn't only make harmless videos about him, but went a step further. During one of his recent live streams, his content was massively flagged for 18+ by a bunch of detractors. No one really knows that the stream had anything inappropriate in it, but YouTube clearly noticed the reports and took action.
What I gotta do, here's what happened, okay? Trolls have been trying to mass flag my streams for 100 years. They have, right? It's always been going on. And so what happens is, they try a million different methods to get the stream shut down. And today it looks like what they did is they mass flagged the stream, claiming, get this,
DSP complained that this had been happening to him for years, and that YouTube kept believing the false reports. However, this time it was more serious. If YouTube kept flagging his content, DSP could lose his super chat and ad revenue. A dream come true for his detractors. And this wasn't the first time DSP had faced something like this. He in fact encountered a much bigger trouble with his channel in 2018. Once again, DSP blamed his detractors for the trouble. He held an emergency live stream and claimed that he had been struggling financially for months, especially mentioning his unpaid taxes, the same taxes he had previously collected donations for.
I will be back on Twitch on Sunday. All right, I'm about to now go into the segment where I'm going to explain to you my schedule and then what you can do to help, because this is a terrible time for this to happen to me right now, guys. You know, I've been talking, every single day about my current tax situation, all the crap going on. This is a horrendous time for this to be happening to me, real talk. So I'm going to let you know in a moment what's going on with that. All right, so
at the time, his income mainly came from Twitch streams and YouTube ad revenue. His main income was generated through Twitch, but he also made money from YouTube.
You know what I mean? Like, I brought in maybe 25% more income on Twitch than I did on YouTube. Okay, but I still have a giant chunk of my income was YouTube ad revenue.
His first partnership with any entertainment network was with Machinima. However, after losing the contract with it, he connected with another one, Curse. Unfortunately, he couldn't hold on to that one either. Things once again fell apart, and he lost the partnership. After losing the deal, DSP explained that he planned to run his own ads using his AdSense account connected to the DSP gaming channel. But when he tried to link it to his YouTube, things went downhill fast. YouTube flagged his channel for invalid click activity, and declared it not valid for monetization. And he was stuck in a bankrupt loop, not knowing how to get out and earn financial aid.
I go to the channel, and it says, DSP Gaming has been, is not valid for monetization because of invalid click activity. Now, wait a minute. 5 minutes ago, I was with Curse Network, and ads were enabled on the channel. So it's obvious that's not the case. There is no invalid click activity whatsoever. What I think happened is that the channel was linked to an invalid AdSense account. And allow me to explain the situation because it's very confusing.
He warned his audience that he could once again beg for donations in the future if he couldn't solve his problem. But this was only one example where he somehow showed a valid reason for e-begging, because he already collected thousands of dollars in donations for his unpaid 2018 taxes, including a massive contribution from a fan named Emerald7, and still had those taxes unsettled. A few years later, in 2021, he was back in trouble again. He was stripped of his source of income on Twitch after losing his partnership, which was through subscriptions and ad revenue. According to him, Twitch never mentioned the reason he lost his partnership. But since he had lost his source of income, he quickly turned to his last resort, begging from his fans.
Me streaming, I'm kicked out of the Twitch Partner Program. Inexplicably. There was no
explanation at all. It was just an email I received from Partnership Removals saying notice of indefinite suspension and termination for DarkSydePhil, saying that my partnership is indefinitely suspended and terminated. Period. It doesn't say what I did for that to happen. It doesn't explain anything.
There was one catch, though. Every fan was obliged to pay through only PayPal, otherwise he wouldn't accept their donation. One viewer even sent him 25,000 bits, and he dared to ban them right there. And that wasn't everything he did. He also warned his fans that he would leave Twitch entirely if his fans didn't support him financially. For someone already infamous for begging online, this move was on a whole new level of audacity.
Can't pay for it. I literally just explained to you my financial situation. I don't have extra money for anything, so I can't pay for this stuff. I wish I could, you see.
When it came to his turn to make donations, he straight up humiliated people who actually donated money. He called out those who did the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge. In that challenge, a person had to either donate $100 or get a bucket of ice water dumped over them and then donate $10 instead. He ridiculed them by saying they were view whores and only wanted attention from the internet. He also claimed that he does take part in donations, but behind the camera. He doesn't do it for views, otherwise it is not genuine.
I'm not going to be addressing these, oh, the hottest thing on the internet right now is to strip completely and pour jello on your head and it raises awareness. Yeah, it raises awareness, all right. Awareness that you're a view and you're trying to get popularity instead of just donating. This is what I don't get about these fads, right?
Meanwhile, Phil keeps doing whatever he can to keep his begging campaigns going, because that's now his main goal in life and his only source of income. Recently, he's been seen playing the new game Hollow Knight, Silksong, where he constantly gets frustrated and starts cursing whenever the game challenges him beyond his skill level.
Oh my god. What? A boss fight with no save point? Good is. Why is she fighting me? Oh, she's helping me? She's helping me.
Let's end this DSP saga right here. Really hope you enjoyed watching this detailed documentary on DSP's life. If you did like watching it, show us your support by liking this video and subscribing to our channel. Who should be the next Lolka for our video? Share your thoughts in the comments below.